Have you burned bridges in the past? Well, I have 10 ways that's going to help you coming up. Welcome back. My name is Isaac, and this is Motivation Inspired. You're checking this out for the very first time. I need you to do two things. Number one, hit that subscribe button down below. Next to it, there's a notification bell. Click on that so you can have up-to-date videos as I regularly post them. Today, we're going to be talking about burning the bridges in every relationship you're dealing with currently, right? Now, I know there's a lot of people that burn bridges all the time. In the past, I've actually burned a bridge here or two and not realizing my characteristic as an individual, how I'm hurting that person. That's right. You're hurting people and you're burning the bridges of a relationship you're working on and dealing with people on the regular basis. So that brings me to my first point. Don't fester. Here's the situation. When you fester, it becomes problematic. It takes a long time for you to resolve that issue with that individual or the relationship you're dealing with currently. So don't fester, and realize that you have to understand, you have to also make amends. Make amends when you are dealing with that. Take these small steps, figure out what you need to do as far as the next steps. So now that you ruined the situation, yeah, people ruin the situation because the way you handle things, the way you say you were going to do things without the individual's help. Because if you're not, building the bridge and building a relationship, and you said, I'm going to burn it down, it's because you want nothing to do with that individual. Well, it's going to bite you, believe it or not. And you want to make amends. Take the small steps. That's very important. So that way, therefore, you can work with that individual. By the way, you need to also make the first move, because you can't just wait on them or whatever the situation you're dealing with at the present time. Make the first move, because that's so important, and that brings your character as a individual a better perspective in life. Be better than anybody else. Don't be like anyone who doesn't resolve these things and they fester. And taking these small steps and making that move makes a difference, because you know why? You also need to be sincere. Be sincere in every situation you are dealing with. And be true to yourself, because if you're not true to yourself, you can't be sincere with anybody else. Because then you think you're a person who is not serious and not just basically putting a facade in life and just pretending that they care. Okay? Yeah, I said it. They pretend that they care. So don't pretend. Be real. Be sincere. And focus on building that relationship that you burned. You burned it anyways, right? So start fixing that situation. And also, admit that you are wrong. When is the last time you said you were wrong? Be honest to yourself. Because I know there's a lot of people who live their lies. They live it. And they pretend that they are honest about what they're doing. So that's another thing. You got to admit that you're wrong. Hey, I'm wrong. I'm sorry I did this. I'm the one that actually started that situation, and I want to resolve it in a better way that's going to help our relationship, our friendship, or whatever business relationship you may have with that individual. Because in the long run, you're going to need each other. You're going to need to make sure that is sealed. Okay? Now, you need to listen. So let's say that person you're developing that relationship with that person, you need to listen to what they say and why you burned the bridge to begin with, right? So if we're not listening, then we're creating, we have to really listen to what they're saying, because if you're trying to make amends and make sure that relationship is not burned again, that's the biggest part of the thing. We don't listen because the simple fact, the way we handle things. So listen to them, figure out what bothers them, and then go from there. And also, you gotta say sorry. Okay, no matter how many times, like I said, you be sincere. Now you have to say sorry. I'm sorry. This will never ever happen again. Well, be careful with your statements, okay? Make sure that you are not promising something that you're not. As a matter of fact, I'm going to post a video, promise or not to promise, okay? So you want to check that out. So be careful. Don't promise something you can't deliver, okay? And understand that you have to make amends and say you're sorry. I'm sorry that this is not, who I am. I'm trying to be a better person. And now you need to ask for forgiveness. Ask forgiveness, because I'm telling you, when you make those amends with that individual, the trust is not going to be there. I'm telling you, it's not going to be there instantly, but you need to gradually show that they can trust you. And believe it or not, the forgiveness is going to be really, whether they like it or not, or, they don't want to give you the forgiveness. They don't have to give it to you right away. They're probably going to gradually give it to you depending on you. That's right. Depending on yourself, depending how you take things. And you know what? Lay down some guidelines. Lay down some guidelines to say, this is what I'm going to do. For now on, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to mainly focus on this, right? And last but not least, let's say you got all this together. Now, a lesson to be learned. Don't take it for granted. Don't take for granted for the things that you have in general. Don't burn any bridges, because that's where the actual relationship can be built. And let's say you have to go back, and your only source is that particular person or business or relationship in general. You want to make sure that you never take for granted of what they can provide to be successful in life. For watching Motivation Inspired, hopefully this video helped you solve these things in 10 ways. As a matter of fact, I want to hear from you. Comment below, make sure you like, make sure you share this video. It's so important to me to get the word out. So it's up to you to share that word so people can know Motivation Inspired. We'll see you on the next video.